What is a tiny habit? A tiny habit is any habit that you currently either have as a list of habits that you have as a person, or you can easily add onto your life. And these are habits that have a substantial impact on either you growing as a person, becoming successful, or it could slow you down. So for example, let's say if I walk up to a gentleman and this guy is a very timid, is a very shy person, and I go up to this guy and I'm like, hey man, you're extremely shy and you have to come out of that shell. You have to be a little bit more confident. That guy's not gonna look at me and go, you're right, starting tomorrow, I'm gonna be a little bit more confident. No, because being timid and being shy, it's a core characteristic. It's something that you cannot change about yourself instantly. But tiny habits, you can. You can either, again, add it to your list of habits, or you can take it out. And in today's video, I'm gonna talk to you all about 10 tiny habits that I personally have that have helped me excel in my life, helped me become a successful young man. So here's a list of my tiny 10 habits. All right, habit number 1 is planning your working day. Look, I'm all for being spontaneous. I want you to think that I'm out here preaching that every single day of your life, you have to plan. If you don't want to plan your days off, if you don't want to plan your vacations, that's completely fine. But what I do want you to do is to plan your working days. In the history of anybody that's been successful, no man has ever been spontaneous on a working day. I don't think anybody successful can wake up and be like, yeah, every single day is spontaneous and therefore I'm successful. If I was spontaneous and any other successful person was also spontaneous, neither I nor that successful person would have had any work to do, because success doesn't come from being spontaneous. So very early on in my career, what I started doing was I bought myself one of these, just a notebook, and every single night before I went to bed, I would sit at my desk, I would open this, and I'd put the date. Let's say if today's Monday, tomorrow is Tuesday, I'd put Tuesday, I'd put the date, and on top, I'd make a to-do list of core items that I have to take care of that next day. Very important tasks, very pressing tasks. And then at the bottom of that list, I've put items that weren't really that pressing, that if I had free time that day, I could have taken care of. So every single day, I'd make a to-do list that I have to take care of the next day. If you open up this book, you're not gonna see anything in it. It's completely empty. And the reason for that is this habit that I had that made me do 2 things. Number 1, it put me on a rhythm, right? I was the rhythm where every single night I had to create a to-do list. And what's gonna happen at some point, and I'm already at that point, is I no longer have to go to my desk, open up a piece of paper, write down to-do list for tomorrow. What I do is I close my eyes right before bed, and I create a mental to-do list of things that I have to take care of the next day. But it all started from here, from this trained me and taught me how to make a to-do list for that next day. The second habit that I have is just doing the tasks. We all have these things, these tasks, these items that we have to take care of on our to-do list, and things that we just keep brushing off. We're like, it's okay, I'll just take care of it later. And what ends up happening is that I will take care of it later thing ends up being days, it ends up being weeks and months, to the point where you're not even gonna take care of it. So what I want you to do, and what I do myself, is there's times where I'm either in between work, I'm in the middle of something, I'm busy with something, and randomly I'll just remember, oh, I gotta take care of this thing. And what I do, if what I'm working on right in that moment is not very, very pressing, I'll leave all that behind. I go walk up to that task. If it's a quick task, I take care of it, because I know that if I don't take care of it in that moment when I remember, I'm not gonna take care of it again. I'm gonna keep brushing it off to the next day. So yeah, I just leave things behind, I work on that task, I take care of it, and then when I come back to my work, I feel happy because I'm like, that thing that I kept brushing off for such a long time, it's finally been taken care of. And that practice is very, very important, because what you end up doing at some point is not brush it off, because you know that you're gonna, in the middle of your working day, you're gonna have to take care of it because it's something that you practice doing now. So next time you want to brush something off that you think is important, your mind is not gonna let you. You're gonna take care of that item, that task right away. So again, just get it done. When I was starting out this whole YouTube thing, initially I had to, obviously like a lot of YouTubers out there, I had to do it all myself. I had to write the content, I had to shoot the content, I had to then edit that content, I had to create a thumbnail, I had to then post that content, and then rinse and repeat. And if you know anything about editing at all, if you know anything about thumbnail designs, and if you want to stand out and be professional, and if you want to compete with some of these other professional YouTubers, just creating one thumbnail that is at a professional level takes hours. Legitimately, it takes hours. Editing a video that you want to look professional, it takes many hours to even days. So these are all things that took me a very, very long time. Which brings us to habit number 3, which is delegating. Delegating your tasks, delegating your role to other people, other professionals that can do it for you, or even better, they can do it even better than you. So now I have a team that helps me make these videos. I have an editor for my long form content for these videos. I have an editor that makes my YouTube shorts. I have a thumbnail designer. These are all people that work for me full time. So to you, it might look like this is a one-man show. It's just me behind a camera, I sit at a desk and make videos, and these should be very easy and simple edits, but in reality, it's not. There's actually a lot that happens behind the scenes. That's why people say if you want to take YouTube seriously, if you want to create content, this is not for the week. This is actually a full-time gig. You have to dedicate your full time to this. Unless, again, you can delegate that role and your tasks to other people that can do it for you. So if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't delegated editing, if I hadn't delegated legal thumbnails, if I hadn't delegated, creating these videos, I probably would not be able to make content and take care of my other business that I have going on as well. So yeah, whatever field you're in, whatever work you're doing, just always see if there's anything that you can do where you can delegate those tasks to other people that could even do it better than you. And a lot of times you'll notice that what that does is it gives you more time for you to learn and excel in your career, and you won't be so busy doing things that could take up so much of your time that you could have dedicated to other more important things. All right, the 4th habit, this one is a little bit different, not really related to some of the other ones that I've mentioned so far, is setting up auto transfers. What do you mean? I mean literally just setting up an auto transfer from your checking account to your savings account. I did this when I was very, very young. When I got my very first job, my very first paycheck, I started doing this where I set up an auto transfer from my checking account to my savings. And what this did was it taught me that outside of paying for things that weren't really too important, like the subscription plans that you had, your Netflix account, your Hulu accounts, and paying your bills, what you're doing at that point when you're doing this auto transfer is you're paying yourself. So the money that you make, the hard work that you're putting in, you're paying yourself first. And it taught me that I matter more than any of these people. And every single month, when I'd see that auto transfer happening, I'd say to myself, all right, there goes my paycheck. There's money that's going to go to an account that I can use later on in life, or even whenever I want to start a business, start a side hustle, do something with that money that's going to help me excel in my career. And the second thing that it taught me was that I made sure that there was always money in that account. I made sure that I always had an income, because since those auto transfers are set up automatically, I was too scared of that hitting and me not having any money in that account. So I always made sure that there was always money in that account, because I don't know, it just feels very unmanly of me in a way to not have money for an automatic transfer to happen. So I always made sure that I had some sort of a job, some sort of income coming in to always replenish that account, so that when the auto transfers happens, that I was good for that month. The 5th habit that we have, or that I have on the list, is honestly, before even writing this habit on adding it to the list, I thought about it and I was like, does it even fit? Is it even considered a tiny habit? And the reason for that is this, I feel like, it's a core character trait. And the 5th habit is using your free time wisely. So just like the metaphor that I made about the timid and shy person, I was like, hey, you need to come out of your shell and be more confident. That was a core character, not using your time wisely and spending your time on things that are just empty entertainment. And if that is who you are as a person, then that's a core character trait. I really can't expect people to just wake up the next day and be like, you know what, I'm no longer gonna watch TV, I'm no longer gonna watch movies, I'm not gonna play any games. These are things that you cannot change about yourself in a day, right? But I still added this to the list. The reason why I added it is because if I were to dedicate my success, all my achievements to any of the 10 habits that I'm listing today, I'll dedicate it for this one. Because if it wasn't for me using that free time to start businesses, do side hustles, work on things like this YouTube channel, or do things that I knew would excel my career, I would be stuck somewhere. Maybe working a job that I didn't want. Maybe being somewhere in life that I wasn't making enough money, and I just not be financially happy about where I am in life at that point. So look, I'm not preaching, and I know that not everyone's going to be like me. Not everyone's going to think, not everyone has that fire inside of them that, they just want to be successful. Some people do, and some people don't, and I get that. And some people are completely okay with making just enough money, but then enjoying their life, and making sure that the rest of their life is just full of entertainment. And if that's who you are, that's completely okay. So again, I'm not shaming that you should watch, you shouldn't watch TV, movies, play games. That's completely okay if you want to do that. I personally don't like doing that. If anybody knows me, they know that I don't have a TV in my room. I don't have a TV in my studio. I barely watch movies or TV shows. And even when I do, I always feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like this time can be spent doing things that are a little bit more productive. And I was especially like this in my early stages of life, and my stage where, I didn't feel like I am where I want to be in life. At this point, if I watch a movie, I don't feel as guilty as I used to. But, when I was younger and I watch a movie, I'd be like, I'm young, I'm dedicated, I'm motivated. Why am I spending my time watching this movie where I could be starting a business, doing something else with my time? So yeah, nothing wrong with doing these things, dedicating your free time to empty entertainment. But there's a lot wrong with it if that's the only thing that you do. It becomes problematic if the only thing that you do is dedicate your free time to empty entertainment. So again, use your free time wisely. The sixth habit is having adding to-dos. Just like I had my daily to-do list for things that I wanted to do the next day, I also always would create myself an annual to-do list. And the one and the most important factor about this thing is I never set any annual goals that I didn't think would be realistic, right? I never set an annual goal where, let's say if I had $10,000 in my checking account that year, where I'd be like, this year I want to be a millionaire, or this year I'm going to buy myself a Lamborghini. And look, there's nothing wrong with being that ambitious. It's really good. But what that does to you is if you set these unattainable goals annually, then what ends up happening is you're not going to achieve these goals. And the next year you set up, you write your annual to-do list and your, things you want to achieve this year. You subconsciously know that last year, none of the things that you thought would happen happened. What makes you think that this year that's going to happen, right? So if you're kind of stopping yourself from that growth. So again, make an annual achievements list, things that you want to do this year, but also make sure that this annual list is things that you are going to be realistically able to achieve that year. Habit number 7 is investing. Look, I have a love-hate relationship with investing. I think everyone in the world has a love-hate relationship with investing. Unless you're Warren Buffett and you've become really successful just through investing, it's something that I've always equated to success. Any successful person that I know always invests their money. And I've personally lost a lot of money investing. I've made a lot of money investing as well. And it's something that I don't think I'll ever stop doing. And from a young age, even though I would set my transfers from my checking account to my savings accounts, the money was never solely in that savings only. And one of the worst things that you could do to your money is just let it rot away in a checking or savings account. There's a lot of people in this world that have thousands, even millions of dollars in a checking account and savings account. They're like, well, it's my money and I want to keep it safe. But that's the worst thing that you could do to your money, right? There's a lot of very safe investment vehicles that you can park that money in, and that money can make you a lot more money than, the few dollars or few cents that you're making by letting it sit in that checking or savings account. So again, a portion of my money that was in savings accounts would go straight into an investment vehicle, whether it was an ETF or some sort of a stock that I thought would do really well, or even if it was a trade that I wanted to take. So I personally always delved in stocks, and I always made sure that this was something that I taught myself. And this video, again, I don't want to tell you what to trade, what to invest in. The whole point of this is that you need to educate yourself. You need to become comfortable with investing and not just letting your money sit in a checking or savings account. Habit number 8. Habit number 8 is a little bit different. You're probably like, man, you have all these one-offs, and it's okay to have one-offs because literally every one of my habits that I've listed so far, it's all been about working forward and making money and excelling. Yes, it's good to work hard. Yes, I know that I have this very, dedicated, motivated work ethic, and I want to, if it was up to me, I would work every single hour of my life, right? But I know that realistically as a human, I can't do that. And I need to level set, I need to reset my life. And the one thing that helped me reset, and kind of come back and, re-level myself was always travels, vacations, and trips that I would take. From a very early age, I think at the age of 17 or 18, when I started making some sort of decent money, I would dedicate a amount of my income to trips that I wanted to take that year. And on these trips, I would make sure that I travel to a place that's a lot different than where I live, because it would open up my mind to different countries, different languages, different cultures, different foods. It would take me so far away from what I was doing in my day-to-day life that it would help my mind just be like, okay, we're good. We have resets, you can go back to work. And once I would do these trips, I'd get back to work, I'd get back to my tasks, and I felt that I have more focus, I felt that I have more energy. And honestly, at times I felt like I missed my work, I missed my job. I missed where I wanted to be. And yes, the vacations were nice and they were good, but if you're a motivated, dedicated person, then you also miss working. You also miss, making money and working towards excelling in life as well. So yeah, it was always good for me to travel, and I suggest that you all do that as well. Set a certain amount of your funds and travel at least once a year just to level sets. And you'll see that you'll come back focused and more energized to tackle your tasks. Habit 9 is networking. A lot of people will sit in front of you and they'll tell you, my circle is so small, and I feel like at this point this has become something very sought after, something very cool. If somebody has a small circle, you're like, wow, that guy is very secluded, he's very private, he must be mysterious, he's got a small circle. It's a cool thing to have. But in reality, I don't believe that having a small circle is the best in every scenario, right? Yeah, if you want to have a small circle of friends, that's okay. But when it comes to, your professional life, your life of becoming successful and excelling in life, having a small network of people does not really help you. So I always think of it as this. I think of not looking at the quantity of friends that you have, but looking at the quality of friends that you have, right? So if you have 20 friends and all those friends are successful, like-minded people, and you can bounce ideas off each other and you can all help one another, then that's completely okay. Versus having a group of 4 friends that all you guys do ever is play games, get high, drink alcohol, and you're really all stagnant in life, not doing anything with your lives. So always look at the quality of your network, right? Make sure that you always have a group of people that you can first learn from, and also they use you as well, right? It's a win-win situation. You're using them for their skills, and they're also using you for the skills that you have as well. And this network will, again, essentially help you grow in life. The final habit that I want to talk about, and this is something that I kind of, stumbled upon, let's say, and taught myself at a later stage in life. I wish I knew this earlier. It was to appreciate my achievements. For the longest time, and it was, again, this fire that I had inside of me where I was always like, you gotta work, you gotta be, successful. Throughout my entire, early stages of life, I would always think I can't wait until I get this next stage of life. I can't wait until, I get this job. I can't wait until I make this much a month. I can't wait until I buy this car. And this became a routine, right? I can't wait. And it became something where I would always look for that next thing. And, what I've noticed is that no matter where you are in life, no matter how much money you have, no matter, what kind of person you are, as a human, you will never feel content. You're always going to want to have that next best thing. And what I taught myself was to pause, right? Live in that moment and appreciate your achievements. Even if you don't feel like you've achieved everything, it doesn't matter. Talk to yourself, be proud of yourself, and appreciate those achievements. If that is buying a nice luxury watch, if that is buying a nice car, that's buying your first property, don't look for that achievement itself, but live in that moment. The journey to getting to that house, the journey to buy that watch, the journey to, buying your first luxury vehicle. These are all things that you have to intake, live in the moment, and appreciate that actually more than the achievement itself. So again, live in that moment and always be proud of yourself. All right, that completes my list of tiny habits that I think help me excel in life. If there's anything that you are proud of yourself, any habits that you have that have helped you, let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.